views and opinions expressed by the hosts do not necessarily state or reflect those. The views and opinions expressed by the hosts do not necessarily state or reflect those of the company and its management. Furthermore, the views and opinions of the guests do not reflect those of the hosts, the show, the management, and the network. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome back to our Monday Real Talk Monday, only here on Motivationally. And of course, we've got our FB page, RTM, as well, Real Talk Monday. And with your host tonight, this evening, none other than Bibo. And Raine is on her way right now. Hi, Bibo. Good afternoon. Good evening. Let's say hello to everyone, global friends who are tuning in right now. Hi, Bibo.
Hello.
Yay! Happy
Yay.
weekend. It's busy here in Victoria and all
Yes, yes,
over Australia, I believe.
yes.
Everyone's on
Welcome
holiday.
back.
We all got back from chill.
Yeah. Welcome back, Ali. Hello, everyone. My name is Bibo Santos. Welcome to our third episode of Real Talk Monday. So, Coach Lee, I'm very happy
Yay!
because coming from a long weekends, I'm very sure that all you guys, especially for our listeners and viewers out there, they came from a big vacation. Time to recharge, right? Time to recharge, and then we're very
That's
happy,
right.
excited for our topic for today. Okay, Lee. Woo.
Yes. Yes. Before that, again, we are really tired, but all worth it, like having this
Yep.
long weekend. Thank God for this four
Yeah.
days of like a day off with our family and, of course, with our friends and our loved ones as well. But before we proceed to our episode 3, let's now also welcome our main host for RTM Real Talk Monday, none other than the beautiful, gorgeous
Yeah.
Raine. Hello. Hi, gorgeous.
Hi everyone.
Wow.
Hello, Real Talk Monday peeps. It's Rain here. Saying hello to everyone. Magandang umaga, magandang gabi. Good day to all, and
Yep.
happy Labor Day to those who are in
That's
Victoria.
right.
Wow.
Good to see the three of us today, despite of the busy days with maybe long drive or wherever you are right now, spending quality time with your loved ones, with your family. Thank God we're back on our
Yep.
fortnightly, Real Talk Monday. Once again, mabuhay everyone for those who are tuning in globally. Thank you so much for keeping us company. Now, today,
Yeah.
Rain and Bibo, what a beautiful episode. This has been a request from our, followers as well on Real Talk
Okay.
Mondays, all about parenting. Parenting matters. They
Wow.
want to hear from not just from us, but maybe some other people are tuning in right now and who wants to share their thoughts, their wisdom, and their experiences. What are maybe the common mistakes of parenting? Maybe we've all done it and we didn't realize it's all like is a mistake, and how
Yeah.
we can improve ourselves to become parents. No one is perfect in this world, but we can learn from one another, right? Rain and Bibo.
Yeah. I agree with that, Lee.
Hi.
Actually, being a
Hello, gorgeous.
actually being a parent here, Lee, which have a lot of learning happening. And of course, for me as a parent, as a beginner parent, novice pa lang ako dito as a parent. So I'm very sure that I'm very willing to I'm very willing to share, giving my thoughts regarding parenting here, especially here in Australia, because there's a big difference, no. Having a child from our country and here in Australia, they have a big difference. So I might giving some little bit of input regarding that because yeah, I have a 4-year-old daughter here, Rain and Coach Lee.
That's
So right
good.
now,
Preschooler.
preschoolers, yeah. So most of the time here in being a parent here, I always ask advices from my parents, of course. So how do you handle it? Because giving a lot of input, especially the environment, is a big factor for me. Because coming from from very traditional and very strict parents that I have, So right now it's a big difference, especially here in Australia, because you have to compromise. That's what we learn in Learner's Hub. You have to compromise,
Correct.
especially because one on one it will be good. All right, being a strict, it's also be good, and also being a very chill parents also be good. There's a pros and cons regarding that. So right now, we have to be open to your child, to your kids. So for us being a parent here, being a much a tradition with a traditional background, you know, ask some inputs regarding from my dad and my mom. How do they handle me as a child before, being strict with studies, and of course being religious. Actually, Coach Lee, they are the one who keep pushing me always, because major hyper tayo before when I was still young. So most of the
Uh-huh.
time there's a lot of people to be considered regarding that. Of course, being a have a deal with the teachers. Of course, having a good communication skills with the teachers, and of course, for us being a parent here in Australia, you don't have to think about the future, because when you think about the future, you become more weary or most anxious. So always think at the present right now. So what we did with our child right now, what we're doing with our child right now is um, it will it will depends on what we're dealing with, especially with the environment. So the big factor for me is the environment. So that's my take for
True.
that. Yeah, and of course, all the listeners out there, they can give they can give some inputs regarding that,
Yes,
because
very
you
insight.
know the
True.
best job all over the world is being a parent. Because for me, giving them time, the best gift that ever give to them. Because when you give a toy, maybe after 2 months, we're done with that. So if you give them time, they will appreciate it. And then nothing against those people who are so busy like us, but give them time is the most precious thing. So
That's
yeah,
good.
that's the number two inputs. Give them time. So that's all
Mm.
for me.
Good to hear from you, Bibo. Having an only
Yeah,
child who's a preschooler, giving that a
yeah,
bit of tidbits, and you can give more insights and hands-on experience as well later on. Okay, thank you so much
yep,
for that, Bibo. How about Rain? Rain has an only child, a gorgeous little
yeah.
boy there. How old is he
Yeah.
now, Rain?
So Kaizen turned 5, so he's actually entered primary school this year. So
Wow.
he started prep
Good.
this year. So I think similar to Bibo, it's about time. Really, I think that the silver lining of the pandemic, as I said in the last episode, was the fact that I got to spend more time with him. We got to
Good.
work from home, so it's really about him getting the best out of me, essentially. So you can see him like he's, we try
Easy.
we try to just, make sure that he's adjusted to everything. Obviously, every child is different, I know, and every parenting style is different, but we're very on the gentle and positive parenting approach. We're not really, I guess, the old school way of being strict and conservative. We're
Yeah.
like we do have discipline, but it's very much a softer one, so to speak. So normally, like today, normally his bedtime is at 7:30, so those are non-negotiables. But because today's a holiday, I said, all right, you can do it later on. One thing though, I guess, to new parents out there, I know it's really hard, but one thing that we did do a bit different, that I was quite pedantic and dogmatic with Kaizen, was in his first year, from the time that he was born till the time that he was a year old, I actually had a complete screen ban. So he never saw any, phones or TVs were not allowed for his first 12 months of life. And we just really focused on his books and spending time with him, and everything else. So I think that really helped develop his love for learning, because even now, he has his own reading time. Like he reads independently and by himself, and is one of the few in his class that can already read. So I think that's one thing, I guess, that I want, as I've said, your child better. and he heard me.
Hello,
And
Kai.
Hello.
yeah, so yeah, that's definitely what had helped him, I feel, because we delayed it. So obviously now everyone has screens. It's fine,
Yeah.
he's 5, but that's one of the things, Lee, that I think was key to his development as an infant and as a toddler. So yeah, that's all
That's
really.
good. That's good to hear
Wow.
from both of you. Thank you so much for that. And you know what? Um, the three of us has are very unique when it comes to parenting, and as you have mentioned, Rain, we all have different approach and different ways of dealing with kids, whatever the age is. And like for Bibo, you've got an only child, and Rain as well. So for Bibo is a little girl and yours a little boy, 5 years old and 4 years old as well. And for me, I have a preschooler at 3 years old, and I have teenagers. Just imagine that. So I've been through different stages of understanding their developmental stages, and sure is I can share so many insights of
Yes.
the growing
Woo!
up, and you think
Go
that
right ahead, Lee. Woohoo!
We're looking forward for
very
that, Lee. We need your
yeah, I'm not
expertise.
trying
Woo, woo.
to I'm not trying to encourage him to have more kids, okay? I am
Okay, we
just
got it.
maybe ahead of you guys having more kids, but you try and understand the different levels of approach of parenting, and one of the things that we need to consider as well is the culture and environmental factor, and
Yeah.
it's very important, especially us migrants and who's already been a citizen in this country as well. Like we make sure that we learn how to adjust into the new world that they are in, the new environment that they're in. Obviously, they were born in a different country, not in the country that we used to live, which is really 100% conservative. I don't know now
That's
if it's still conservative, but during my time and even maybe your time, it's still conservative. Like they're going out, the playing with other people, they're studying everything, right? But here in a Western country, we need to adjust sometimes. Like for me and my husband, as a parent, we're not even perfect, as you have mentioned, Rain, a while ago. We make sure that we're giving 50% of our my Filipino culture. Those culture are really acceptable and
true.
acceptable and well mannered sort of like values, and 50% of what is good in a Western country, so that it's actually like, you weigh things up, it's blending well, it's like a song, it harmonized well, and you are
Awesome.
not really coercing your child to be like a very godly, saintly, whatever, perfect individual and summa cum laude, things like that. Let them enjoy life, let them enjoy childhood, and let them learn, and you will be there to guide them as well, guide them and always allow them to think, being independent, because like back in the good old days, our parents, because of again, it all depends on the culture. Sometimes we are dictated on what course to take. You should be a doctor, you must be a lawyer, you must be like this, but we didn't have time to really think of like,
Yeah.
hang on, let's pause for a while and do this. So this is what my take when it comes to talking with my teenagers, because now they are in the verge of finishing the K to 12. They're on almost in the year 12, and they need to understand and realize with our guidance as parents that what is your passion, what you want to do, where do you see yourself in 4 years time when you finish university, in 3 years time when you finish university, depending on the course that you do. What do they want to do in the future, what do they want to enjoy and explore more, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses. These are very important topics that you make sure that you talk to your children. Like I talk to them in a different way when they were like preschooler, like you guys, Bibo and Rain, you have your preschooler. We had
Yeah.
I wrote it. I have a little notebook, just a tip, ladies and gentlemen. I have a little notebook that I use. Because we always have conversation daily, 5 minutes. We use a ball. I call it a ball relay. So I use a ball after school, after eating, when because they're always hungry after school, right? Because they're all playing preschooler or school age. So when they're at home and all chilled and now sitting down before they do their homework, we have a 5 minutes break. and we talk 5 to 10 minutes break, and then we have a ball. I pass the ball to, for example, Bibo is my one of my children. I say, Bibo, how's your day today? What's the best thing that happened at school today? Or what's the best thing that happened today? Whether it's a school day or maybe extracurricular activities, and what are the struggles do you think, and when I look back with my notebook diary, I can see different, when even I showed it to them, like, the weight of their concern, their problem, compared now that they are teenagers and they're finishing their year, K to 12, you know what I mean? So they can see the transition, how, and as parent as well, you can gauge yourself how well you have communicated with your kids, how well you have fixed the problem, perhaps how well you have maybe distinguish what is a problem and what is not a problem, things like that. Again, being a parent or being parents, we don't need to go to university for us to improve our craft. As parents, we all learn from experience, and we learn from day-to-day activities, and it's up to us as parents, before we got married, we make sure that we are ready in this next journey of become parents. And because of that, you'll have kids. How can you be effective if you yourself is not ready to become a parent, because you yourself is not being fixed yet, you
True,
yourself is
true.
not ready, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you won't be able to empower your children even as young as preschooler or school age or teenagers or even adults as well. So it all starts from within, that we must be effective individual to become effective parents. So that's my take. There's many things that I could share, but it might take all day for us to talk about this. So Rain and
Wow.
Bibo.
Wow,
Thank
Lee,
you.
you're such an expert. I learned from it. All right, I learned from it. Well,
Not so
anyways,
much. I'm still
Lee,
learning. Thank
we
you.
have also some people who's watching. Joey Hidalgo, what's up, Joey? One of our friends
Hi,
here.
Joey.
He
Hang on a
Yes, he said
second.
that it's what's a great topic. Verbal programming is really critical. It's make or break with their own dreams. So yeah, thank you very much,
Oh,
Parts,
great.
Joey, for
Thank
your
you,
inputs.
Joey. Thank you so much for
Yeah,
tuning in. That's a
actually,
great sharing as well.
yeah. And Lee, thank you very much. Of course, I love a lot. Actually, every time, every day is a learning experience. Actually, being a parent here, so I'm very happy because
Mm,
I learned a lot from. Of course, having a child here, especially here in this country, is quite challenging for us because on my part, there's no one is helping. In It's always doing by just me and my wife, so we have
yeah.
no helper here, so we
Hands on
have
parent.
hands on and then we have no helper. So most of the time we ask a lot of inputs from from you guys, and of course from the community as well. And then we have to practice what you're preaching actually. So once you set a
Definitely.
give a very good example in front of the children, most of the time, Lee, actually, during Sunday, I told to my daughter every Sunday, there's no screen time, so no cell phone, no TV. You have to do all your activities from a 4-year-old daughter, and then also told me, "Oh, Papa, how come that you still having your phone?" And I have to explain to her, give her time. So why am I using my phone? And then have time to explain. Don't ever
Good.
have a
Good.
close. Don't ever close. Having a close-minded, especially with your child right now. So you have to explain everything. So yeah,
Definitely. Yeah, I
that's
agree
my
with you,
insight.
Bibo. That's good. And you
Okay.
know what, Bibs? Talking
Yep.
about this, how we raise our kids as
Yep.
Filipino background culture, and being
Yeah.
able to surpass that too much perfection. We learn
Yep.
how to blend 50% of our culture and 50% of what is the Western culture, which is what is best
Yeah.
amongst those culture, putting them together, making
Yep.
100%, and at the
Yeah.
same time, continuous learning. But I when as I what you call this, as I continue to learn, having these three kids, I have a preschooler
Hmm.
and two teenagers, again going to
Yep.
university in the future very soon. I've learned talking to an experts as well, like doctors, pediatricians,
Yep.
friends, circle of friends who have the same mindset. There
Hmm.
are quite common mistakes in parenting, and we might not have realized that these are mistakes, Bibo and Rain. And
Yeah.
one of them is like, as parents, this is in general, whatever your culture would be, you will be able
Yep.
to to relate to this one.
Yep.
Number one is not trying to fix the problem, not trying to fix the problem. So even if every day you keep on talking to them and it's still not getting fixed, you must do something about it. Maybe the
Yeah.
strategy is not that effective, especially like bedtime battles, preschooler, school age, whatever the age. uh,
I can
what
relate
time
to that.
we expect that, hey,
Eight
at 8
o'clock.
o'clock you should sleep,
Yeah.
but they're still awake, and we do that every day
You're still
until the whole
active.
year has passed and the next year has passed and their age is
Yep.
growing as well. Have we
Yeah.
really fixed the problem? There could be some strategies to do it. Maybe think about the diets that they eat, that might keep them hyperactive. Or maybe
Yeah.
us parents, we might be overwhelmed with a lot of activities and we didn't have time to
Yep.
set the goal and even the
Yeah.
boundaries of, hey, as parents we should be a good example to our kids to sleep. When we say 8 o'clock, no more TV, no more telly, then turn off the
Yep.
telly, it's bedtime. Maybe we can improve on that. But then some parents are actually, Bibo and Rain, are complaining like, it's been a year, it's been 2 years, and still the problem is there. Maybe because you have not really
Yeah.
sat down and think about it. Maybe my strategy, or maybe I lack strategy. That's why it's still like that. Temper tantrums for school age or
Yeah.
preschoolers. You know,
I
uh,
can experience that
every
before when
day
I
the
was.
temper tantrums. Yeah. But maybe we have not really heard them. We have not listened
Yep.
to them. Or
Yeah.
maybe there was no time perhaps for talking, like what I did for my kids, right? I said 5 minutes every day or 5 to 10 minutes of
Hmm.
talk is very important no matter what your age is. Maybe that would be a good strategy for you to know where they're coming from, because some little young kids, they couldn't express a lot, but maybe
Yep.
us as parents, we may be able to, you know, um, realize something. So these are one of the common mistakes, is not trying to fix the problem. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe people, do you have an
Yes.
example of
Actually.
not trying
Yeah.
to,
Most
apart
of the
from temper
time.
tantrums and sleeping bad?
Most of the time,
Yes,
Lee,
what is
we
it?
have to. What I told you earlier, that you have time
Yeah.
to explain why we're doing it and why I always telling her that you have to stop this, because 8 o'clock, it's the most of the people here, you need to sleep so we can more be productive, because being productive here, we still have a job in here. Of course, we still have we still have
True.
our motivationally, and of course a real talk Monday here. So you have to explain to them what's going on, why am I doing it. And of course, most of the time, I'm always telling her that Lee, I'll always expect, especially in our way back in the fields, that being scared with our parents is common in our part, especially when you have a strict parents. But for me, you have to differentiate before you're scared and respect. So having a respect with your parent doesn't mean that you have to be scared on them, because most of the time, if you have a respect on them, you have to do the right thing, and they expected me to do it. But most of the time, of course, being a parent right now, it's really, it really, as you look back, yeah, that's the time that's why my parents are doing this, because this is the reason, and I experiencing it right now. And always tell to my dad, always keeping calling to my dad. It's really a cycle, actually. Dad, thank you very much for all your you and mom, how you being perseverance, especially with my studies, because during my studies, because without my studies, without finishing a certain course way back then, I won't be able to go overseas. So I always keep telling to my little vein that the importance of study. That's the most important thing for me. And the thing is, you have to compromise. Okay, I always giving you five more minutes of screen time, and after that we have to read. We have to do the assignments, and after that I'll give you a reward. That's the most basic of things that I always do it to Evane. So yeah, it's really
That's
it's
great. That's great to hear from you, Bibo.
yeah. Okay.
Coming from
Uh, mhm.
someone who has a preschool. Thank you for sharing that. Now, Rain, we were just talking about whilst I, trying to learn, educating and being a parent myself, educating more myself,
Yep.
learning how to, surpass effective parenting as well. We talk about some of the common parenting mistakes. And one of them, which I
Mistakes.
have learned from other people as well, is as parent in general, whatever the culture is not trying to fix the problem. And I have given an example a while ago. Rain is all about the bedtime battles. It's been a year, 2 years, it's still the same. Even temper tantrums and all that. Even for the older children, like for teenagers and early adulthood, like the behavior problems as well.
Mhm.
With older children, how come it's still the same? That you know what, Sister Lee and Bibo, oh, my kid or my daughter, my son is now 18 years old and still the same. It's been like
Mhm.
this since he was 10 years old. Hang on, it's been 7 8 years and still you haven't really thought about how you can fix the problem. So you've just let it go and let it grow, and look what's happening right now. The behavior changes, and it's the values and everything, the manners changes, because as what you have mentioned,
Yeah,
Bibo, the clear communication is very important for us between parents. So
true.
thank you for that, Bibo. How about you, Rain? What's your take on that? Not
Pleasure.
trying to fix the problem. Do you have any example?
Think right now is a perfect example, guys.
Yeah, I knew it. I knew it, guys.
Because normally his bedtime is at 7:30 and we've been out all
Yep.
day and he hasn't had a nap, and I know it's
Uh,
just,
she's a little bit
um,
Grumpy.
cranky.
he's really grumpy, and obviously because of show, I can't put him to bed yet. Like, that's the reality of it. And I think parents do struggle with, as you said, people having to work,
Yeah.
obviously, and balancing that priority. So it's sometimes very hard. And I try even now to like let him cry it out, but not so much that he doesn't know that um we're not around for him. But it's
Yep.
still a balance, because sometimes you only, like, especially when you've worked a full day, I especially understand, you've got 10 hours in a day, and then you still have to cook. Like, as a mom, you still have to cook, you still have to get the house in order, that you're only human, and then you snap straight away.
Yeah.
True.
So
That's right.
and then you can, yeah,
Patient.
definitely now. So you just have to, I guess, be patient with it. And really sorry, guys, you can hear him in the background.
That's
He's
all
That's
really
right. That's all
not
right.
okay,
not
Kaizen.
That's
happy.
a living
So
example, right? That's a living
it's
example we
an
have here in our
example
topic.
right now,
we
for
Yeah.
don't
sure.
have
Yeah,
we don't
yeah.
have
So
helpers as well
Yeah.
no,
in a different
exactly.
country.
So we
That's the
try,
struggle.
and that's one of the things that we do. We you know they have really big emotions, and they just still need to adapt to it, and adjust to it. So yeah, it's a struggle for
Not
sure, for sure.
That's okay. I can sympathize
Yeah.
with you. If my little one, my
Yep.
preschooler, will be awake soon, she'll be looking for
Yeah.
mommy. And you've seen her in our episode 1 and episode 2. She will come here and she wants mommy, just like Kaizen. She wants mommy. He wants mommy too. So, you know,
Yeah.
um, mother care. But anyways, thank you so
Moms
much for that,
knows
Rain.
best.
And that's right. Well, father knows best as well. I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to be,
Yeah.
sexist here.
That's
Okay,
normally
so
because yeah,
dad and
being a
moms are
guy, yeah, being a guy here,
they're more
us
chill.
for us guy, we're always looking for our mom. Yeah, that's very normal.
That's
That's
right.
very
That's
normal.
right. That's true.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
do you know what? We try our best in a different country. We don't have helpers. We are
Yep.
really hands-on parents. It's really good. It's the satisfaction is 100% because you can see how your children grew up from stage one up to the stage that they can really look after themselves, and that's really a good reward for us. Being parents is a very much rewarding job in the
Yep.
entire world. Is the best job that you can get in this world. You don't need to go to university and really learn so much about parenting. So that's good.
Yeah.
There's another input that I have learned from other people about mistakes in parenting. Not only the number one that I said, not trying to fix the problem. The other one is overestimating or underestimating a problem. For
Yep.
example, I can sympathize with this. Okay, um, remember, Bibo, our culture, like once you're already in that teenage life, we want to go out with friends, socialize, right? And if mom and
Yeah.
dad are going somewhere, we don't want to go there because we know there are people, adults that we cannot really relate with. Like they're
Yes.
talking about arthritis, they're talking about medicine. We can't really relate
About their
to it. I mean, like
children. Yep.
there are so many things that we can't relate when we are like in that
Yep.
young age, right? Like 13, 14, and we want to, and especially the developmental task that we want to achieve is, socializing, belongingness, something like that. And we need the friends as well. But again, sometimes we overestimate or underestimate something, a problem, just like this one. Like we think like, hey, child one, child two, child three, you must come with us, we're gonna go to the party of your uncle Bibo, you must be there because da, 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 da. But we don't really like think about, hey, they also want to enjoy what they're doing. It's they're not being disrespectful, but they were, especially in my own experience, if they already
Yep.
booked their appointment, socializing appointment. So what am I saying
Yep.
this, Bibo? At home, as I've mentioned, since they were little, we
Hmm.
always talk every day, right? Apart from that, now that they are grown up, my other two are grown ups right now, we always have a calendar of activities. So I make
Wow.
sure that as parents, I'll be the first one to schedule our activities. We block weekends. Do not socialize on this week because we have an important family activity. And in some of the Saturdays or Sundays, then you can, have a play date or like socialize with your friends, and they need that. I don't want to be, so what you call that thing,
Yep.
um you are being so strict with this, with the schedules at the same time. You're being
Yeah.
possessive, with
Controlling
them,
also.
because we have to understand the
Yeah.
developmental task and developmental stages that we need to achieve. This is Eric
Yep.
Erickson's, guys. If you can have a look, Eric Erickson's developmental stages, we need to understand each child, whatever their age, what
Yeah.
are the conflicts and what are the things that they need to achieve. Because
Yes.
without socializing at the same time, they lose confidence in, being exposed
In
outside.
the
Their
real world,
self-confidence,
actually.
self-esteem
Yeah.
will be impacted too, right,
Yep.
people? So that is one of the examples of overestimating and or underestimating a problem. It's one of the common mistakes that we parents should understand.
Yeah.
Again, leave that, some of the 50% that is not right in your culture.
True.
Just,
True.
just take something what is really best in your culture. And you have to adjust where you are in a country,
Yep.
western country. You can't be, even like eating chocolates, Bibo, right? Like at home you're
Yeah.
not allowed to eat chocolate, but when we go to a party and everyone is eating chocolates or drinking drinks,
Yeah.
it's
It's
so
really happening. Yeah.
cruelty when you tell them like, hey, at home you should not eat chocolate because your teeth, da, 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 you have a perfect teeth. We're Filipinos, we have
Yeah.
perfect teeth.
Yeah.
And you should not drink this, da, 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 because we're at home. But hey,
Yep.
they're also socializing. It's very cruel not to let them taste something. At least they are not, what you call that, they're not naive in something. At least at some point in their life they were able to try
Experience.
Coca-Cola, Sprite,
Yeah.
chocolate.
Yeah.
Let them enjoy
Yeah.
that. It's party, right?
Yep.
When you come home, there's no fizzy drink, there's no
Yeah.
chocolate, because you are consistent with your rules in the house. So
Being
again,
as yeah.
you can be, you can
Yes, actually,
adjust, you can.
because most of the time, yeah, being since since I'm very controlling, yeah. So being a controlling parent, so you also teach your child to be more submissive. So I always
That's
tell to my
right.
child that if ever you want to speak out, you need to speak out. You have to stand, because this is the advantage of having having in a Western country, because they're very independent. So they're not dependent, not totally
Right.
on their parents. So they're very dependent. They gonna say whatever they like. They're gonna say whatever they comes in their mind. But the thing is, even though that we're in a Western country, I always tell them that you have to tell it with respect, with values.
True.
And
True.
of
True.
course,
True.
most of the time for us here, yeah, being really with our parents, so it's a big difference, because we will be able to adopt the parents how we go as we go grow up, because it's a very different environment in the fields compared here, actually. they have especially right now. It's very hard also in monitor them through their gadgets as they grow up. Of course, you, Coach Lee, you have a
That is
teenager.
so true.
Yeah. So how do you, how do you monitor them, especially with with their gadgets? Coach Lee, I will also to give a big shout out to Jess Celestino of Euphoria. Hello, Kuya Jess Celestino. What's up? And of course, Parang Joey
Hello.
Udago. Yes. He's one
Thank you
of his
so much
emphasis
for tuning in.
tuning in. Yeah. So one is an
That's right.
emphasis. Thanks. Being in Australia, cultural adaptation, another factor that makes anything we know as beliefs, tradition, pass on knowledge. As always, challenge for us who moved here after later life compared to made in Australia's Pinoys. And of course, awesome. Love that and a moment for me here. Thank you very much, guys.
That's good. Thank you so much for that. And Bibo,
Yep.
I have also was you're talking about gadgets, right? One
Yeah.
of the common mistakes, apart from not trying to fix the problem, what else did I say? Overestimating or underestimating the
Yep.
problem. It's all about inconsistency of
Yeah.
us parents in general, whoever you are, wherever you are in this
True.
parts of the world. Okay, uh, one of those being inconsistent is that what is expected of them and how to act, for example, gadgets, right? So we how phones, gadgets, especially now, it's really into a virtual sort of like shift in this world has shifted into a virtual sort of like gadgets right now, and
Yep.
communications and all that. And children these days, as you can see, even in the bus stop, you can see children waiting for the bus, they're all like this, bowing down, like bowing
Yeah.
down like this. And you think that they're praying, but they're not. They're on their gadgets. Even inside the bus, you think that they are praying. Everyone is so quiet because of that. But at home, try not to be inconsistent with your boundaries and rules as well. And us parents, we must be a good example. Again, you've mentioned so a while ago about the gadgets.
Yeah.
There
Guilt and
must be a
charge.
certain time, for example, whether they're preschooler, school age, or already teenage, especially teenagers. Oh my goodness, I'll pull my hair as well if talking
Wow.
about this, because that's their outlet, socializing and talking to other people, their friends, belongingness, everything. Again, you must really talk about what time, as you talk every day, as what I do every day, right? I always say, okay, after school, you rest for maybe an hour, because it's all like studying at school, right? When you come home, I don't expect them to do their homework straight away. Have something to eat, snacks, rest, then use your phone for an hour. And then after this, like for example, 5 till 6, you can use or 4 till 6, use your gadgets. Between 6 to 7, we'll have a dinner together as a family, not individually. Like, oh, I'll just take my own plate. No, we must sit together as a family. And then from 7 till 8, as teenagers, okay, you can do your homework, whatever you need to do. And they always say, Mom, can I increase into 9 o'clock because I have lots of things to do? I'm already in year 12, in year 11, or year 10, whatever it is. And I adjust to that as long as they don't feel tired the next day. Because I always tell them, if you don't have much sleep, you won't be able to concentrate in the class. Trust
Yeah,
me,
it's true.
nothing will be kept in your brain and even your heart. It all comes into your ear. It comes out in your other ear. So make sure you've got at least 8 to 9 hours sleep at your age. So you must really, sometimes you must adjust, but you always set the time when they can use the gadget, and you must be consistent. Again, one of the mistakes is inconsistency. Ever since
True.
they were children, whether watching telly, or now that they're teenagers, they have gadgets now, their own gadgets. I always make sure that this is the time that you should do with this, the time to study. This is the time from whatever time to this time. This is the time
Yep.
you can use your gadgets. Then, if you break the rule, they know me as a mom. I know I'm kind of,
Yep.
strict to this, but if I caught you lying to me, I will take your phone away and you will be banned from using your gadgets for 2 weeks. And if you're
Wow.
being naughty again, it will be. And I always do that.
That's true.
With parents, if we say something, do it. If I say
Yep.
2 weeks, it must be 2 weeks. If
Yep.
I say 1 week, then there's no negotiation, because you broke the rule, and I've given you 3 attempts and still the
Yep.
same. Guys, children, preschooler or school age or teenagers, this is what I said. If you break the rule, 2 weeks, no gadgets, and it must be
Wow.
consistent.
Yeah, yeah.
Otherwise, if you as parent as well being inconsistent, you said 2 weeks and you gave it after 2 days because in Tagalog kawawa naman, wala na siyang
Kawawa.
kausap.
Yeah.
Yes, then they can manipulate next time. They know this is like an operant conditioning, it's like in psychology as well. Like they would realize like, D- Daddy Bibo will only say 2 weeks, but one day I'll just make lambing. I'll just be sweet to him. I'll just wash the dishes and all that. He'll be fine. He'll
Yeah.
give it to me. No, be
Actually,
consistent.
actually,
It
Coach
will
Lee, that's
grip
one of
them
yeah, that's
to
one of my
learn.
technique. I'm very malambing to my parents. We're very tight. Actually, we're not just close. We're very tight. If you still believe, if it's, until college, sometimes I always hugging them and carrying them. I always sometimes go to their beds to their bed when they were sleeping. Just Robin, that's how we very tight is. And first and foremost, you're very correct there, Coach Lee, because you have to be more consistent. Because I know
Yes.
that tomorrow, mom, dad, that'll be all right. Even though I did a little bit of some, I don't want to mention about it. And then actually, I can relate what you said, Coach Lee, because there's an incident before from the way back then when I was still in my college days. Of course, cell phone gadgets are still are there already. Are there already. So dinner time. So during dinner
That's
time,
right.
yeah, so dinner time, all of us, I have two sisters, all of us must go to our dinner table. So first call, dinner time. My mom and dad are calling us. Third call, we should be able to go to our dining table. So, but the thing is, one of my sisters didn't be. Two of my sisters actually didn't be able to go. And then you know what my dad did? He turned off the switch of our electricity, and then that's the time. That's the time. Two of my sisters are running in our dining table. So yeah,
Oh my
so that's
goodness.
it's a good
I
experience
know.
actually. So that's the first and last time it happened. So yeah,
Good to
so
know, but good to hear from you, Bibo. Again,
yeah,
in general, not too loose and not too tight, and
yep,
be consistent because inconsistency is one of the common
true,
mistakes, people, right, of being a parent. And
true.
also, expectations are unrealistic, and we'll add Rain into the stream right now. Rain,
Woo!
hello.
Welcome back.
Hey,
Welcome back,
beautiful.
Mark.
Hi
Now,
guys,
Rain.
sorry.
Hi.
Yeah, I
Rain
know,
might
mom
have some
life.
take on this. That's okay. We
Sabi
understand,
ko,
Rain.
mom
Parenting.
life,
Parenting is
Yeah. Mars,
that's
the
okay. We have
struggle
to
is
abide.
real talaga. The struggle is real.
Mm, mm, for
That's true. That's
sure,
true.
for
Now,
sure.
Rain, we're talking about some of the common mistakes. We talk about not trying to fix a problem, overestimating or underestimating a problem, inconsistencies. Now, expectations are unrealistic for parents in general. So, what could be your example? Maybe hands-on example, or maybe you have seen from other people. Expectations are unrealistic.
I think just now, really, just the incident now, you can't expect your kids to be perfect. You can't
True.
expect your kids to just know and do the right thing all the time because we're not perfect parents either. So you can't expect perfect children all the
I agree
time
with you.
because they should actually be allowed to learn from their own imperfections, so to speak. So I think that's the main takeaway for me. Like every day, I have to remind myself to just be a bit more patient because I also was young once, and I
Yeah.
think that it was my parents as well back then who exercised patience so that I can learn to regulate my own emotions. And that didn't really happen until I was old enough to understand the emotions. So I have a 5-year old, and like you, because you've got a 4-year old going on 5. I think that's the main challenge, that we can't expect the same emotional maturity from an adult to a child, and we just can't transfer, I guess, those behaviors that we've learned that aren't
Mhm.
really productive. So I think obviously there's definitely good days and bad days. Sometimes I I do feel very overwhelmed. But I said take a step back and put him first. That's why I was like, guys, I'm sorry, I needed to just step away from the situation for a bit and learn to, I guess, reset those expectations and always learn to reset those boundaries every
True.
time. But it's hard to do. It's not an easy thing, and I think that's a struggle. The balance to be, like what you said, Lee, not too loose, not too tight, is such a big balance, especially since Bibo and I have a long road ahead till
Yeah.
they're adults. So it's still very hard. And I think the other thing that really has helped me is the fact that I do have, my husband who is supportive of me and Kaizen, but it is hard. It's quite a struggle to gain that consistency that Lee spoke of, with because of obviously also the changing schedules that we all have. Like it's not, none of us are just full-time parents. So not neither myself and my husband do work full-time. So
Yep.
it's not, it is a balance as well for because we
True.
have to make a living, right? So
Mm, that's true.
that's the
True.
biggest balance for sure.
And the
Sure.
good thing about us here in a different country who has no helpers here and we're hands-on parents is that if there are inconsistency in between, we try to communicate to them why these are happenings and why
Yeah.
this has changed a little bit because this and that. And that's just good for your communication as well. Thank you for that,
Mhm.
Rain. And this reminds me, Rain, of another incident that I have came across as a nurse and as a friend at the same time is the
Mhm.
when we say expectations are unrealistic, which is one of the common mistakes of parenting, is that when it comes to parent to what to call this toilet training, potty training,
Yeah.
there are parents out there who are in a hurry, like, oh, my daughter is already 1.5 years old or 2 years old, she or he must be toilet trained so that I can save more with nappies and all that. But guys, for those who are
Just don't hurry.
new
Yeah.
parents here or about to be parents, toilet training is really an enjoyable stage of a child. But whenever they are ready, I'm not saying that they should be ready when they're 6 years old. It's not. Start exposing them when they're 18 months perhaps, or even after 1 year old. Start exposing them to potty training, little potty, or we call it wee wee potty, or some they call it toilet,
Yeah.
whatever. you know Keep exposing them every day, and even let them come with you when you go to the toilet so they understand what mommy or daddy is doing, or the sisters and brothers doing. And then as they grow mature, every month they will realize, like, I need to go to the toilet when I want to do number one and number two. And when they're actually really more developed when it comes to understanding, especially when they're 3 years old, majority of them in general, they are more now attuned to, I've seen this when I was 1 year old until I'm 3 years old. Now I understand now what mommy's talking about, because I'm getting the chance to understand some of the words and the actions now. I'm more mature as 3 years old, or three and 2 months, whatever it is, 3 years old and 2 months, 3.5. So let them be exposed daily, but don't coerce them when they're 1.5 or 2 years old. Majority 3 years old is good because they can understand. When they understand, then it's easier for you to consistently, let them realize, like, hey, if you want to wee after breakfast, lunch, you have the schedule until they get used to it. Okay, so there's really a bit of a problem when it comes to potty training, because a lot of parents are comparing, like, hey,
Yeah.
Biba's child has been potty trained when they're 2 years old, and Ray's child was 3 years old, and how come my daughter is now like almost 3 years old, is still not potty trained, she's not understanding it? Don't feel stressed, ladies and gents. As long as you expose them
Yeah.
daily, talk to them daily, it will come at the right time. At least they know what a potty is, in general. And then you will be surprised one day, mommy, daddy, I want to go to toilet. You'll be surprised because of you guys as parents. You are consistent in training them daily after they're 1 year old already.
Don't
Okay,
hurry.
so that's yeah, that's
I
what I've
actually have a
realized.
yeah, Lee, I actually have
Yes.
true to life story with Kaizen with
Yes,
potty
yes, please.
training.
Go
So
ahead,
I
Ray.
think
Yes,
that um
before for a commercial.
because I think one thing is, one, don't compare your kids to other kids. That's the one thing that
Definitely.
if I missed that
True.
part earlier on, don't compare your kids to other kids, because everyone, not everyone is a clone of each other, right?
Yep.
But for potty
True.
training, I actually did try under two to get Kaizen potty trained, but he wasn't ready. It was more of just like a me thing. I was like, "Oh, you're two now," and it wasn't for anything. It was more of like, um, I just wanted him, because apparently that's like the recommended age, right? Like
Yep.
two
Yep.
onwards. That's the recommended age that
Yeah,
you've got to try.
yeah.
And
Or one
he
and a
did
half
it one,
months.
yeah,
Yeah.
1.5 to 2, right? But he wasn't ready, and it was a disaster because he didn't like it. He didn't rate it. He hated it, and he got like a big aversion for it.
Yeah.
So after that, I learned my lesson, and then I just let it go. I'm like, it doesn't matter. I mean, the way I thought it about it is, no one who's 18 has, to wear a nappy. So I've got, a bit of time. Anyway, fast forward, when he started to do kinder, and then he saw other kids who didn't have nappies anymore. So he went to kinder with nappies and things like that, but he just decided one day that he didn't want a nappy anymore, and that was it. So once he was ready, it was like a one day for him. No night nappies, nothing. We just went cold turkey because he was ready. So I think that's like,
Yeah.
so no training
Yes.
whatsoever. He was just like, "Yep, no
Instant.
nappies, mum, even nighttime." So I guess, lesson learned. You have to wait for your kid to be ready for things. So
All right. Well
yes,
done,
So,
like,
Kai. Well
yeah,
done, Kai.
that was it.
Whew.
Yeah, but
so
today is, as I've said, out of the ordinary, and we just have to go back to the normal routine after this. So that's it, guys.
I
That's my little
know.
story before we go to break.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for that. And this is really, really lessons learned for those who are newbies right now, newbies parents. Like, please don't compare your children to other people, and even yourself as
Yeah.
parents, because everyone is a unique being, and we make sure
Mhm.
that, again, the readiness of the child, especially the body training. Oh, never compare one child to another. My goodness. Okay, it will just, you are creating your own stress, and as what Rain and
True.
myself has mentioned, let them wait for them to be ready. Wait for them to be ready. But again, for some parents, you can expose them consistently and talk to them. All right. Let's. This topic is so
Okay.
interesting. We can talk all day, 24 hours, but we need to pause. We will come back
Yep.
right after this. There you go, guys. One of the best.
Wow.
The hub is Learners Hub, of course. Bibo and Marion is looking after that. And please contact them, guys, from K to 12 if you want to improve the academic excellence or academic performance of your children, please K to 12 contact Bibo and Marian on Learners Hub. And of course, if you need some printing materials, not printing materials, but printing what you call this, t-shirts or
Apparel.
any
Yep.
other giveaways, contact as well. Estilo Design, of course,
May
Ruel and
Roel
Rowena.
and Rowena.
Hopefully you're watching right now. That's good. Now,
Yeah.
someone messaged me on Messenger because we
Okay.
were talking about the common mistakes of every individual in different parts of the world, and they can really relate to it. That not trying to fix the problem, overestimating and underestimating a problem, expectations are unrealistic. They can relate to that. Being inconsistent, and they said, how about fighting back? Of course, fighting back in general is also one of the common mistakes as parents, especially when they're little kids, Bibo, right, and Rain. They're so
Yeah.
cute when they fight back. Oh my goodness, my little child is like, saying something like "go away" and like this, like that. You
I'm
stay there,
galit.
you stay there, like that. They're so cute, right? But once they are in the stage of being more mature, like early adulthood, from teenage life to
Wow.
early adulthood, oh my goodness, that is a different thing. This is a different message that you will come across, the different tone of the voice, the way they speak to you and everything, the power, of saying something to you. It's going to be a different weight compared to when they're cute preschooler, or school age, like, yeah. But fighting back verbally, as parents, I think either Rain or Bibo was saying, like, sometimes we also lose our temper. Sometimes we have our own,
True.
we can stretch as much as wide as like this, but sometimes we got to the point like, this is enough is enough. And of
Yep.
course, as we are trying to discipline them, we know the boundaries, and we know when to say no, we know when to say yes, and we know when to discuss something. But arguing in general, what do you think? What is your take on this one? Fighting back. Have you
For
encountered this
yeah.
as with your preschooler, or maybe you have
For
seen this from others?
my preschool to Vane, I haven't experienced that before, but a little bit of, a little bit of, what do you call this? She don't like what she's doing actually. So she's gonna tell to me, yeah, I don't like. She always tell her, because I don't like to do that. So I always telling to her that I have to explain to her that we need to do this because tomorrow it will be your, swimming day, because she I wanted her to help me preparing her things, especially the goggles, everything, because Moran is doing the baon, the food, at the time. So she always tells, sometimes she told me, I don't want to do that. Up, you have to do this. You have to be more responsible. You have to help us because there's always there's a three of us here, so we have to watch each other back. So about fighting back, or what do you call this, telling to my parents when I was still young, from the way back then, sometimes growling or shouting, uh, as a parent, especially with my parents, they sometimes you have to do that for me, because to show more authority, because there's a three of us actually in our family. So I have two sisters. Sometimes we have our different issues. So because I'm a guy, I have two sisters there, so I'm outnumbered versus from them. So sometimes they always fight back on me, on my part. So there's will be a time that the parents, they have to growl sometimes. So we have to shout, hey, you have to stop this. You still in my house, so you have to respect all the rules in here. So just a little bit of reminder that sometimes you have to show some, like a lion. You have to growl sometimes to show authority, to show your territory. So yeah, that's my intake on that.
That's good. That's good to know, Bibo. Thank
Yeah,
you for that. How about you, Rain? What's your take on this? Fighting back is one of the common mistakes in parenting.
Um, Actually, to be perfectly honest, my that's me growing up.
guilty as charged.
Sorry, sorry,
Me
mom.
too.
Oh my gosh. But not fighting back. I always saw it as expressing my
Yep.
opinion. But obviously, as a parent, as my mom, she didn't like that. I could only imagine, because Kaizen, like you, Pars, Kaizen would
Yep.
say, I don't like, and
Yeah.
I've, but he wouldn't, I guess he wouldn't throw a tantrum about small things. The only time that he would actually throw a tantrum is if he's overtired, like now, and he doesn't feel supported. And that's how I find that if I don't give him the attention when he's going through something, that it will just escalate further. But
True.
um that's why I had to obviously step away for a bit. But growing up, I always felt like I always had to, my mom saw it as answering back, but for me it was voicing my opinion, because you always have a difference of opinion, especially when you're a teenager. In my teenage years, so I really um, cost her a lot of, I guess, gray hairs. To be honest, I know she's gonna watch this later, because would
Shout out
always,
to them.
I'm always, I was always demanding. I spoke my own mind. But now that I have my own son, I could see both sides. I could see my side as a kid and then my side as a mom now. So fingers crossed I'll be able to, parse you and I high five. We'll be
Yep.
able to handle it better,
All
especially
the
because
best.
Australia is a
We need.
very independent and
Yeah.
definitely a different culture, because my mom would like really like, we if my mom is, she doesn't like it. It's
Yep.
basically, you cannot, like, in a traditional setting, being traditionally Filipino, no, you do not answer back at all.
Yep.
So
True.
but it
You
never
don't
got,
right.
and yeah, so that's pretty much it, right? But I did, and it caused a lot of, I guess, heartache on both sides, because I always felt like I needed to. But as we grow older, that sort of mellowed now, because your emotions aren't as, and your hormones as a teenager are has sort of like become more
Coming
stable,
down.
and become more, you're more calm. Um, and I just have it at the back of my mind, because my mom would always say, "Wait till you're a parent, then you'll feel the pain I'm
The
feeling."
golden words.
And it's like, as they say, papunta ka pa lang, pabalik na
Pabalik
kami.
na ako.
Oh,
Balik na
pabalik
kami.
na
Ah,
ako.
yes.
Papunta ka pa lang,
True,
like you
true.
don't know.
Pabalik na.
Like in Bicol, it's like, paduman ka pa lang, they ka pa pabalik and all that. So that's the
Oh,
main,
yes.
I guess that's the main thing, like, Lee, that I really like now. I'm like, oh, I'm like, oh,
Well,
please.
this would also
So
this
that's
will give
it.
you
So
Reality bites.
that's right. But Rain, this will give you more insights on how you can deal with this to you, or with when it comes to bring up your son, because
yeah,
you
correct.
have this experience yourself, and maybe you can think what could be the best strategy in order for you to
We'll see. We'll
tackle the
We'll
see.
issue.
see.
You'll be
Fingers
more. We'll
crossed,
see. Good
right?
luck to
We'll
that.
see.
Yay!
Yeah.
Because
Me
it's a
too. Me
different
too.
environment too, Pars. It's
Yeah.
different. Australia is different to Philippines, so the environment is differently. It's a definite change
That's why
to
we need you,
how we're
coach.
raised. Yeah.
Be prepared. That's all I can say. But
Be
do you know what?
prepared.
Yes, Rain. Anything else that you want to add to that
No,
about
it's
fighting
just that
back?
really. I
Good.
think that
Thank
it's
you.
about, for me, finding that balance. And obviously today I did not find that balance on making sure that my son comes first. So we had a big day, and he got
Sure.
overtired, and it's just resetting everything tomorrow morning, and making those, good memories outweigh all the bad. So I think that's the main thing
That's
that you can
right.
do as a parent. Come here.
I
Come
love
here.
that attitude. I love that attitude. Thank you
Okay.
so much, Rain, for sharing that, Rain. Thank you. Wonderful. It's good to hear from both of you, Bibo
Yeah.
and Rain. I love that honesty. I love the patience, and I love that the values that you both have. And I
That's why
wish
we
you all
need you,
the
Coach
best
Lee. That's why we need you,
as
Coach
they
Lee.
grow older. I've been there. Thank you. I've been there before. I always say, you know what? I always talk to my kids daily, 5 minutes to 10 minutes. We've got this
Yep.
ball that we usually like, pass on to one another and talk about what happens during the day and what's the best thing that happens today and everything, what the struggles. But you think like, at that point, I would say, I'll be fine when they grow older. But believe me, despite of all the 100% that you have given to your kids, because again, we're not all perfect parents, right? But
Yeah.
again, they're in a different environment. You keep on talking about Filipino culture, but how can they relate if their environment is not pure Filipino culture? So please, let's
True.
stop that. Let's have that 50% of Filipino or whatever culture you've got, and 50% of what where they are right now, so they can balance their life as well. And at the same time, about the word fighting back, which is one of the common mistakes of parenting, is that it's so easy with preschoolers and I think school age when it comes to talking to each other, not arguing, but when they commit mistakes, when they're inconsistent with what they have promised to their parents, to mom and
Yeah.
dad, it's easier for them. It's easier for us to tell like, hey, go to a timeout room or timeout chair, or you give them something like a very simple punishment, not a punishment, but I call it like just a timeout thing, right? And it's
Yep.
enjoyable for them at the same time, and they learn so much from that. It's so easy to deal with that preschooler school age, but it's so different when they're already in the teenage life, when they're still like in the middle of being child and being an adult. That's teenage life, right? So they're trying to go to the two paths, and they're still in that kind of confusion where they're heading at. Even their sex, if they're female or male, they undergo with that, or the belongingness, a lot of things is going on in their minds, because as teenagers they're into different two different worlds rolled into one, being
Yep.
still a child within them, 13 or 12, but they're going into an adulthood, early adulthood. So they are into these conflicts, right? And they're trying to make sure that they are doing the best that they can so that they can thrive into this world. Now, sometimes as parent like me with my kids, we have some discussions, and I am not always perfect. Sometimes when you're tired from work, I'm sure you can sympathize, Rain and
Yeah.
Bibo. Sometimes you lost your temper. But then when I lose my temper, I always say, I always apologize. I apologize. The reason being, I was like this, and my voice, thought of my voice is like this. I'm very inconsistent now. I told you that I must be calm. But why I was like this, because I was stressed at work. I always tell them that. I always tell them where I was coming from, and I don't mean to hurt their feelings. I don't mean to hurt their ego, but I'm always there to support them, to guide them, because it's really the love that I could give to them. And they must be lucky that they have a mom or a dad who loves them and who's concerned about them and trying to help them, guide them, because they're in a stage that they are very fragile. Teenagers are very impulsive in decision making, and they always think that they're always right, that whatever they are whatever paths that they're taking right now, it's always right. And I don't want to hear it from my mom or my dad, because I know what I'm doing, because going into that early adulthood stage as well. At the same time, they're still in that childhood era at the same time. So two worlds rolled into one. And for me in general, whether again, the most important thing is, again, how you can discuss this with them. What are the pros and the cons? Because if I argue with them verbally, no one would win. At the same time, if you are arguing verbally to your kids, especially the teenagers, okay, again, for the older kids, you are just giving them negative attention and lots of power over you, because they know, mommies and dads, that hey, I can trigger mom's strong reaction if I do this. So that's not a good approach of arguing. Like, you're not teaching them to be respectful, because you yourself as parent is not respectful at the same time, because you are showing what is not right. But again, we are not always perfect, and every day is always a learning curve, and we have works to do, and we are stressed at the same time. But again, speak to your kids. Why did you do that? Don't wait for tomorrow. Make
True.
sure before they speak, sorry, and be clear with your action at the same time. And again, for school age and preschooler, it's easy to put them in a timeout, but you can't put them, teenagers and early adulthood, you can't put them in a timeout. They won't gonna do
Yeah.
that. They won't believe in that. Then constant communication, being honest to them. I guess open communication is very important, especially guys, for those who have children who are growing up right now. And it's quite normal for them not to come with you all the time whenever there are parties or gatherings because they have their own friends at the same time. But the only thing that you must be alarmed with if they are already smoking or what else, doing something that is not
Drinking.
right, that
Yeah.
you need to be in the middle, you've got to stop them. But allow them as well to socialize because, again, they need to learn from other environments too, but you're always there to guide them and to always let them know that, hey, these are the things that you should not do because if you do this, like early pregnancies and all these things. I'm very open to my kids when it comes to that,
Yep.
yeah,
That's
because
good.
they are going into the early adulthood. I'm okay with my little one. It's easy to put her in a timeout and to just laugh and have fun. But the serious matter is when they're already teenagers and you know that a lot of things that they can be exposed to. Again, they're very impulsive in nature. They need guidance. They need a calm at the same time,
Mhm.
consistent rules and boundaries so that they know, even if they're partying, that they're honest with you. They will text you, hey, mom and dad, I'm here with my friends. We're here. And they can even take a photo. My kids, they take photos, selfies where they are. So that I trust them. And if I told them, if you really break the trust, I can never give you back the trust. And they know me. When I say it, I do it. And that's why you have to be
Yes,
consistent
that's
with it. So that's my take with fighting
wow.
back. Don't let do that power tripping because they know that I can trigger mom's strong reaction by doing this. So talk to them.
That's
Talk
true.
them
That's
in a
true,
calm
coach.
way, and especially with the yeah. And for the little
Yeah.
kids as well, it's very important to talk to them eye to eye contact so they can see the sincerity. Like when you're standing and they're like sitting down and you're like, hey, don't do this. You're too high, that they can't see your face or even your eyes. Sit
You
down,
have to level
talk to them
down.
eye to eye. They can
Yeah.
yes, level within their eye level, and they can sense your authority. Even if you're calm, your authority is there. You are the mom, you are the dad. I believe you, even as 3 years old, preschooler or school age. But again, it's a different approach when they're already teenagers. There's a lot of things that you
Wow.
can
Coach.
do
Actually,
to
sorry
this,
about that,
that.
coach. Yeah.
Very important.
Yes, coach. Actually,
Yes.
Lee.
Now,
Actually.
Bibo. Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Carry on. Carry on.
All right. Go ahead. All right. I can imagine myself, when my little one go to teenager. So there's a little bit, this little bit of being a little bit of scared maybe because I've been there. I know what's happening, what's going on because being yeah, musician, part-time musician, of course. Both of us, coach, has been we worked before in UK before. The environment. The environment in a party, in
That's
a
right.
club, in a pub, especially I have my I have a daughter, so that's a little bit of big advantage because I can tell to her this will be happen because I've been there before, so I know that the consequence that might happen if you do this. So I will give her a little bit of advice maybe when she grow up, and I don't think my reaction will be much more on the soft side or the or being a daddy way. So
Yeah.
I don't
You
know
can
what
do
will
both.
what will happen in the future. So
Yeah.
we really
Experiment.
need actually we really need your expertise, Coach Lee, in the future.
Well, I'm not an expert. I'm learning so much every day. And you know what, guys? If you're
Yeah,
not
but you've
sure of
been
what you're
there.
doing, consult an expert. But yeah, experience will help you grow more as a parent, honestly. And again, every child is different, but in generally speaking, same principle. What we can do to our all our kids, anyways, as long as we are ready. Ourselves are ready as parents as well, and we should not be stubborn parents. We should learn from other people, be open minded, and all that. But Bibo, before we wrap
Yeah.
this up, let's pause for a while and let's come
Okay.
back after these There you go, Bibo. Well,
Yeah,
back. We are back. Thank you so much once again, guys, for those still with us. I can't believe this. We've been
yeah,
talking for like, I think more than an hour, but it's a very interesting topic. And thank you so much for
true.
tuning in. And for those who have just came in, thank you so much for, looking after us here in Real Talk Monday, of course, and with Motivation. And we are also simulcasted on my YouTube channel, Motivationally. So for those who don't know, my website, I have this website, www.motivation.com. Please check out all my services for you guys, from life coaching to hosting to motivational speaking or keynote speaker. And what else, Bibo? I've got everything there. And
Everything,
uh,
everything.
facilitator and
Yep.
professional development and personal development as well. So please check out my website, www.motivationally.com. And I would love and
Yes.
looking forward to work with you very soon. And thank you so much again for Mr. and Mrs. Davidson for having me as their host, MC of their event. Thank you so much. God bless you
Yep.
guys. Thank you so much for your trust. Now, Bibo,
Yeah.
we've talked about those common mistakes, at the same time our real experiences as parents here in a different country. We don't have helpers, we are hands-on parents. We learn so much from scratch, and
Yep.
growing together as husband and wives together with our children. What are your takes about our discussion today, and also special messages to all our televiewers or all of the global viewers of Real Talk Monday?
Okay, thank you very much, Coach Lee. A big shout out to all the people who are still watching until from the beginning until now. Thank you very much for sharing it and giving your inputs. And of course, being a parent here, I would always say to give a big time for their children, because the most important thing is they will appreciate the time you given to them. The material things are there, especially we're in a good country right now, but time is very, it's priceless. So enjoy every moments, every especially when it comes to parenting, every stages when they as they grow up, enjoy everything. And of course, always have ask from guidance from our Lord, of course. And that's it for now, Coach Lee. Thank you very much for having me. Of course, please like also Bibo Santos and of course Learners Hub, and make it a habit every fortnight. Motivationally together with Real Talk Monday. Um,
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah. So always
Every fortnight.
tune in. Yep.
Very good. Thank you so much. And Rain, I'm sure Rain will
Yeah.
be able
Be-
to send some good
and
messages.
and
But I
Coach Lee,
can,
before we finish, we have to.
yes,
Rain is not here. We have a surprise for her. To we will greet her. Belated happy
happy
birthday.
birthday. Happy
Yeah.
birthday to you. Happy birthday, Rain. And we'll have maybe a little party next time with our kids, children's party,
Yeah.
something like
And
that.
Coach Lee,
Yes.
sorry for that. A big shout out to Nella. Nella is also having an event in the future. I recommend you. She will contact you very soon. All right. So
Yes,
Nella.
please. I can be an
Yep.
MC for a children's party too. Any events, guys, call me.
It's an
I'll be
engagement
there.
party and of course wedding party. Two events for this
Engagement and
year.
wedding. Sure, sure. No
Mm,
problemo. I'll be there to
yeah.
support you guys and to make you laugh, cry, and whatever you like. So I'll do my best part, 200%, of course. And now, Bibs, going back to this topic, a very interesting topic, and I'm sure all of the parents, new parents, newbies,
Yep.
and soon to be parents will be able to watch this over and over again. We're not expert on this, but with our
Yep.
experience and of course with our consultation to the experts, we are sharing our experiences, our insights to you guys, so that we can empower you as new parents or soon to be parents at the same time. And today, as if we organize everything and summarize everything about the common parenting mistakes, the overestimating and underestimating a problem, not trying to fix the problem itself, being inconsistent. What else? Not having rules or maybe certain boundaries, or limits that you call it. What else? The fighting back, as we have mentioned a while ago. You can just replay that. And of course, I would like to add on that, not changing what doesn't work. So they're all related to one another. Those are the common mistakes. I'm sure Bibo, Rain, myself, and maybe you have already done this and you're not aware, like, oh yeah, I've been doing this for like the past 20 years and still the same, because you haven't reflected on what you're doing. So again, my take for this Bibo as a coach at the same time, is really as for parents to be more effective in looking after our children, whether it's preschoolers, school age, or teenagers, or adulthood. Forever it's a forever, sort of a roles and responsibilities. Is like we must create a safe environment. Create a safe environment, especially if they're little kids.
True.
Let them explore with toys, and with the pandemic, not all of us can afford to buy toys. Just have secondhand or have a hands-on toys. It doesn't really matter if it's new or not, or anything that you can create a safe environment. At the same time, a safe environment wherein you can have the access of talking, communicating, is what Bibo and Rena said a while ago. Talk with the little kids eye to eye, and the tone of voice, and even with the older kids, eye to eye, sincerity, the tone of voice is very important, and consistency in your communication. At the same time, um, provide a or create a positive learning environment. Your availability to chat with them, even if you're working, 12 hours a day. Even the 5 minutes is very important to our kids, because we are their outlets. They pull their strength from us. They got their strength from us, and we get our strength from them too. So it's a two-way to tango. So have a positive learning environment. Your availability, even 5 to 10 minutes, is very important, and it means a lot to them as they grow older daily, and they will become effective parents in the future one day. Okay. And use some assertive disciplines, perhaps. Like, it is very important that we set rules and boundaries. And if you say, for example, for the gadgets, if you use this beyond the rules, then no gadgets for 2 weeks or 1 month. It's up to you, or they can be in timeout. So you know exactly that you're using an assertive discipline, but not overly, like over and beyond this disciplinary action as well, because it's not too good. Too much of something is not good for anyone as well. So we're here to learn to discipline, at the same time have fun and enjoy and grow together as a family. And what else? Have a realistic expectations. Remember that. And no one is perfect in this world. I am not a perfect mother. Even Bibo is not a perfect dad, and even Rain as well.
Yep.
We try our
True.
best to learn from other people's experiences. Again, stop comparing children from one child to another, and stop comparing yourself to other parents. We're all unique individuals. We're all special individuals. We're all perfect in the eyes of God, and do what is right. Again, 50% of your old culture and 50% of where you are right now, put them together will be the best, upbringing for your kids at the same time. And make sure that, again, be flexible in everything that you do with your kids at the same time, so that your kids, we gain respect. We don't ask for respect
Yep.
from our kids, but you gain that respect. It's
True.
earned, right? So
It's earned.
again, be a good example to our kids. And take care of yourself. Self love, guys. For the
Yeah.
mothers out there, I know for the Bibo, I need to say this. For the mothers out there, have time to have someone to clean your nails, your fingernails, your toenails, if you can
Spa.
afford, or not, do it by yourself. DIY if you can't afford, or do something about pampering once a year, twice a year. And also eating healthy. I know it's stressful to become parents, especially if you have lots of children. Like we have got three. Balance, work and family. And again, self-love, it's very self-care is very important. Look after yourself. Kumbaga sa atin sa Tagalog, wag tayong maging losyang or
Lola.
losyang,
Los yan.
lola or
Tama.
something. Try to beautify yourself at the same time. You don't need to put on makeup. At least, be graceful, and stay gorgeous for your family. At the same time, health wise as well, make sure that you are balancing your life with a good balanced diet at the same time. Okay, so that's
True.
my take for today. And
Yeah.
once
Let me
again,
add to
guys,
that. Let me
please,
add to that,
right?
Lee.
My little one has actually
Yeah.
woken up.
Hello.
Actually,
Let me add
look,
to that,
mommy.
Coach Lee, because
Before we
yeah,
go, that's right.
yeah,
Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe my YouTube channel, Motivationally, and watch all my videos there, or go to my website, www.motivational.com. Please don't forget that. And Bibo,
yeah.
I would like to tell
So
everyone that behind,
good.
yes, Bibo, you want to say something?
Yeah, I would like to add something because we're living right now in a different world, especially the millennials. Nothing against them, but yeah, the instant gratification is so rampant right now for them on their part. So always explain to them you have to
That's
work
true.
for it. So as my
Yes,
little
good
ones
point.
grow up, I always telling her that you have to work for it. So appreciate whatever that they're making, but that's really true, Coach Lee. Don't compare. Don't compare to other kids or the other parents. So
Yes.
yeah, that's our
Don't create your
intake
own
right now.
stress.
Hello, baby.
True, true, true. So, Bibo,
Yep.
before we all go, behind every young child who
Yep.
believes in himself is a parent who believed first. That's from Matthew
Wow.
Jacobson. Always remember that, okay? So, again, it takes you to tango, and be be a good parent as much as you can. Contact an expert if you can't handle it, okay? Communicate well, husband and wife, and of course the family. And I wish all
Awesome.
the families good health and stay safe, everyone. Thank you for so much for watching, everyone. Don't forget every fortnight Real Talk Monday with Rain, Bibo, and myself, Lee, motivationally. See you again, Bibo and Rain, next time. Take care,
Bye.
everyone. Look after yourself. Bye.
Bye. God bless.